While you're sleeping in, some man is already building the empire you were too lazy to start. He's stacking cash, forging discipline, and becoming the masculine leader you were supposed to be. And the worst part, he's doing it with the same 24 hours you waste. The world doesn't care about your potential. It only respects your results. You could have been a king, but you chose comfort. You could have built an empire, but you picked entertainment. You were born into a system that trained you to be soft, compliant, and emotionally fragile. You were handed a phone and told, scroll your life away while real men build theirs. They told you emotions matter more than logic, that playing video games for hours is self-care, that masculinity is toxic and ambition is dangerous, but deep down, you feel the truth boiling in your gut. You know you're not living the life you were built for. You know this isn't it. You weren't born to beg for weekends and check your bank account before ordering a meal. You were built to conquer, built to dominate, built to rise above the excuses and become someone people remember. But here's the uncomfortable truth. You've betrayed yourself more than anyone else ever has. You've lied to yourself so many times, even your soul stopped believing you. Every time you said you'd start tomorrow, every time you chose comfort over discipline, you dug your grave a little deeper. And now you're standing at the edge, wondering why life feels empty. It's because you traded your potential for pleasure. You handed your freedom to the very system that enslaved you, and now you're surprised that you feel powerless. But the chains are mental. You're not trapped, you're distracted. That's how they control you. That's how they keep you average. Because the moment a man becomes disciplined, he becomes dangerous. And a dangerous man can't be controlled. Discipline isn't a trend, it's not a phase, it's the foundation of freedom. A man who controls his mind can't be enslaved. That's why I always say your mind must be stronger than your feelings. Because feelings lie. Feelings tell you to rest when it's time to grind. Feelings tell you to quit when success is around the corner. Feelings are the enemy of greatness. Weak men obey feelings. Strong men obey purpose. See the difference between a loser and a winner? The loser waits for motivation. The winner creates it through action, through structure, through relentless self-respect. You don't get rich by accident. You don't become powerful by scrolling. You get there by becoming disciplined when no one's watching. That's when your legacy is built, not in the spotlight, but in the shadows, when it's just you versus you. The reason most men stay broke, weak, and depressed is because they've never tasted the glory of delayed gratification. They've never said no to the short-term pleasure and yes to the long-term power. That's why they'll always be replaceable. That's why they'll always live paycheck to paycheck, begging for a raise, watching other men fly jets while they beg for respect. And the worst part? They think it's normal. They think struggle is permanent, that life is just bills, stress, and survival. But that's a lie sold to you by people who gave up, people who want company in their misery. Freedom only comes when you no longer trade your time for money. When you build systems, businesses, cash flow that works while you sleep. That's real power. That's masculinity. Providing, protecting, and standing tall with unshakable certainty. Masculinity isn't aggression, it's control, it's presence. It's becoming the man that doesn't flinch under pressure. It's walking into any room and knowing you own it. Not because you're loud, but because you're built. Built mentally, built physically, built financially. And most of you reading this, you're nowhere near that version of yourself. You've let your muscles shrink, your bank account cry, and your mission dissolve into meaningless distraction. But the beauty is, it's not too late. If you're breathing, you've still got a shot. 1 year of ruthless discipline can rewrite your story. 1 year of saying no to weakness, no to cheap pleasure, no to excuses can turn you into a man you respect in the mirror, but only if you kill the old version of yourself first. That man has to die. The lazy, emotional, soft, broke version of you, he's the enemy. He's the reason you're not where you should be. Don't try to fix him, replace him. You need to get angry, not at the world, but at yourself. Not because you failed, but because you accepted failure as an identity. Get angry enough to build a new standard. A man who trains every day, reads every day, builds income daily, and never wastes time. A man who values time more than money and values mission more than women. That's who you must become. Not for likes, not for validation, but because your future demands it. You were not born to be average. You're not built for mediocrity. You are meant to be a weapon in a world of weakness. And if no one ever told you that, let me be the first. There's a beast inside of you waiting to be unleashed. Don't you dare die with him still asleep. There was a time I was dead broke, not struggling broke to the bone. I was sleeping on a mattress without a frame, using a cracked phone, counting coins to eat. I wasn't some helpless victim. I was just undisciplined. I had the intelligence, I had the strength, but I lacked structure. I let the world convince me that time was infinite, that comfort was a reward. I was sedated by cheap dopamine and distractions that promised joy but delivered decay. Every night I'd tell myself I'll fix it tomorrow. And every morning I'd wake up the same. Empty, unfocused, average. That's the part most people won't tell you. Being average hurts more than failure, because failure pushes you, but average numbs you. You don't feel the fire, you just drift into irrelevance. One day I looked around my apartment and I saw a reflection of my mind, messy, quiet, weak. And in that silence, something broke inside of me, not in a sad way, in a necessary way. I realized no one was coming, no savior, no miracle, just me versus me. And in that moment, I made a decision that changed everything. I will never be poor again. Mentally, physically, or financially. I didn't make a wish, I made a vow. And the man I became to keep that promise is the man you see today. Ruthless with time, obsessed with winning, merciless with laziness. That switch, the decision to stop negotiating with your weakness, that's when everything changes. People think success is some magical lottery. They want one trick, one shortcut, one lucky break. But what built me wasn't luck. It was repetition. It was waking up early when no one cared, training alone while others partied, reading while others scrolled, building income streams while others played games. Every time I wanted to quit, I remembered this: success is rented, and the rent is due every day. You don't pay once and coast. You pay in blood, sweat, sacrifice daily. And once you taste the power of true discipline, nothing else satisfies you. Not junk food, not toxic people, not distractions. You start to crave growth like a drug, because progress becomes your new high. That's real masculinity. Not chasing pleasure, but chasing purpose. I remember hustling through side gigs, trading time for crumbs, hearing people mock me behind my back. They laughed because I was hungry. But hunger is a blessing. When you're starving for a better life, no amount of resistance can stop you. I didn't respond with words, I responded with results. I let my work speak, and slowly the income grew, the body sharpened, the mindset transformed. People went from laughing to asking how. But by then, I had already become untouchable. And here's what I learned. Money is not just currency, it's leverage. And if you don't have it, you're just another man begging to be free. Masculinity isn't about being loud or aggressive, it's about presence. It's about walking into any room and commanding respect without saying a word. You earn that presence through the hours no one sees. When you're working in silence, grinding without applause, building a life brick by brick. The gym taught me discipline, business taught me leverage, pain taught me patience. Every loss built a layer of armor. Every rejection refined my focus. And every obstacle reminded me that comfort is the enemy. You will never grow in a place where you're always comfortable. That's why most men never become great. They choose softness over strength, approval over power, emotion over action. Even now, with wealth and freedom, I keep the same fire burning. Because once you escape the matrix, your mission becomes helping others do the same. But you can't save anyone if you're still drowning. So first you rise, you build, you discipline, and then you lead. That's the masculine path. Not tears, not excuses, just relentless action toward dominance. The kind of dominance where your name opens doors, where your presence shifts rooms, where your word becomes law. That's what financial power brings. That's what disciplined living delivers. And the best part, it's all possible for you. If you're willing to suffer now so you can live free later. The man I used to be died the day I got tired of surviving. I buried him with every lazy habit, every broke mindset, every weak excuse I ever told myself. And what rose from that grave was a force of nature, a man so focused that fear couldn't reach him. You want that transformation? Then you must declare war on the old version of yourself, not with words, with action, daily, without validation, without mercy, because there is no plan B when you're serious about plan A. That's what it takes. That's what built me, and that's what will build you. Look around you. Time is killing you quietly. It doesn't scream, it doesn't knock, it just takes. Every second you waste, someone else is getting sharper, stronger, richer. Every moment of hesitation is a gift to your competition. And you don't even see them. They're not flexing on Instagram, they're silent, they're building, and one day they'll walk past you with a life you told yourself was impossible. Not because it was too far, but because you moved too slow. You think you've got time? That's the biggest lie you've ever swallowed. Time is the most brutal enemy you'll ever face because it never stops, it never forgives, and it never comes back. There are men your age, driving Lambos, living in penthouses, owning their schedule, their money, and their freedom. And what are you doing? Making excuses that feel reasonable but produce nothing. Watching content instead of creating results. You're not tired, you're undisciplined. You're not lost, you're unfocused. Your feelings lie. Discipline tells the truth. That voice in your head whispering, rest, chill, take it slow. That voice is poverty disguised as comfort. The future isn't some soft cloud waiting for you. It's a battlefield. And the weak men, those who delay, those who wait for motivation, those who think manifestation is enough, they get slaughtered. Not physically, worse. They live life on their knees. They serve systems they don't control. They work jobs they despise. They follow rules they didn't write. And the worst part? They know they chose it. Every time you said, I'll start Monday. Every time you chose comfort over grind. Every time you hit snooze instead of hitting your potential, you programmed yourself to lose. You're not stuck. You're scared. Scared to change. Scared to sacrifice. Scared of the pain of growth. But guess what? Pain is guaranteed either way, the pain of discipline or the pain of regret. One forges diamonds, the other buries dreams. You'll suffer either in the gym or in your body, either in your business or in your bills. Either now when you can control it or later when you're too broken to fight back. You either feel the burn today or you live cold forever. There is no escaping it. Life taxes the lazy more than the obsessed. You think motivation will save you? No. Motivation is a spark, but discipline is the flame. Without it, you'll light up for a day and go dark for weeks. But the man who wakes up with purpose, who moves without emotion, who trains, works, and builds even when it's boring, he becomes a machine. He doesn't need permission. He doesn't need applause. He doesn't even need results right away. He operates on faith, forged through action. He knows that if he stays in the fight long enough, the world will fold. Not because the world is fair, but because he became undeniable. The reason you're not rich isn't luck, it's lifestyle. You can't drink like a king, sleep like a peasant, and earn like a god. Your life is your scoreboard. If you're broke, weak, or confused, it's because you've been outplayed. But here's the beauty. You can change the game anytime you decide to stop playing small. Financial dominance isn't about greed, it's about freedom. Freedom only comes when you no longer trade your time for money. You want to be a man of value? Then create value. You want money chasing you? Then build something it wants to chase. It starts with killing laziness. Cutting off the people who drain you. Building skill sets that make you untouchable. Right now, someone is living the life you want because he didn't wait. He bled early so he could shine later. He sacrificed distractions, said no to pleasure, got focused before he had proof. That's the price. And if you won't pay it, stay where you are. But don't ever complain, because you don't get to feel sorry for yourself in a cage you built with your own hands. Masculinity has been sterilized, neutered, mocked. Real men are framed as toxic, power is demonized, strength is laughed at. But those same critics still chase the men who own those traits. Why? Because truth doesn't care about opinion. Masculinity wins in the real world, not in debates, not in feelings, in outcomes. The man who leads, earns, protects, and builds is still the one everyone respects when the world burns. So let them mock you while you rise. Let them call you extreme while you dominate. Your job is not to be liked. Your job is to become unbreakable. The window is closing, not in years, in days, in choices. In moments like this, where you either decide to rise or continue watching others win. FOMO isn't just fear of missing out. It's the pain of watching a life you could have had built by a man you chose not to become. That version of you already exists in the realm of potential, but potential is worthless without execution. So what will it be? More delay? More excuses? Or will you wake up, lock in, and finally declare war on mediocrity? Because the clock doesn't stop, the world doesn't wait, and the man who hesitates becomes the man who obeys. There's a version of you that doesn't flinch, doesn't fold, doesn't hesitate. And every choice you make either brings you closer to that man or buries him. Weak men talk, strong men act. There's no mystery, no cheat code. Success bows to consistency, and power follows those who earn it through relentless discipline. No one's coming to save you, no one's gonna hand you a roadmap. The world rewards the man who creates his own path with blood, sweat, and unbreakable belief. You don't have to be the smartest. You don't need a head start, but you must be willing to suffer longer than everyone else. You must be willing to delay pleasure, to grind in silence, to stay in the shadows until your time comes. And when it does, you better be so sharpened by the struggle that you cut through every obstacle without hesitation. The man who masters his mind masters his destiny. Your mind must be stronger than your feeling. Your hunger must overpower your habits. Your focus must become so intense that it repels distractions. Stop looking for comfort. It's a trap. Comfort kills fire. It softens your instincts and convinces you that you're safe when you're actually stagnant. You weren't born to be average. You weren't designed to settle. If you feel a war inside you, good. That's the real you fighting to break out. The man inside you doesn't want peace. He wants purpose. He wants pressure. He wants to dominate. He wants to look at his bank account and see freedom, not survival. He wants to look in the mirror and see a savage, not a shadow of potential. This world isn't for the passive. It's designed to enslave you with pleasure, drown you in comfort, and strip your masculinity with every scroll, every sip, every surrender. You were born with a warrior's blood, but you've been taught to act like a civilian. That ends now. The real masculine energy isn't loud. It's not toxic. It's controlled power. It's quiet confidence. It's having the strength to hold the world on your shoulders without ever asking for sympathy. It's building wealth, not to show off, but to break the chains. To never answer to another man again. Every man who wins understands this one truth. You must become dangerous, not reckless. Dangerous. Dangerous with your mind, dangerous with your skills, dangerous with your discipline. Because in a world this soft, a man who operates with savage control is unstoppable. He doesn't chase women, he attracts them. He doesn't chase money, he commands it. He doesn't chase validation, he owns his identity. And that power, it's available to you the moment you stop lying to yourself and start living like your life depends on it, because it does. You can be poor and humble or rich and humble, but humility without strength is just weakness dressed in fake virtue. You think you're a good man? Be a strong one first. Provide, protect, and then speak. Earn before you preach. If your bank account isn't where you want it, stop posting quotes and start creating value. Study the market. Learn to sell. Solve real problems. Money doesn't care about your intentions. It obeys skill, action, and control. Freedom only comes when you no longer trade your time for money. You want freedom? Then build something so powerful, no man can take it from you. Nobody's forcing you to stay broke. Nobody's holding you back except the man in the mirror who keeps negotiating with mediocrity. You already know what needs to be done. Wake up earlier, train harder, think bigger, work longer, ignore opinions, respect time. Invest in yourself so aggressively that failure doesn't even recognize you anymore. You must become a weapon, not a beggar, not a victim, a walking storm of execution. And when the world pushes against you, good. Pressure reveals what's real. When people doubt you, let them. Let their silence become the fuel that feeds your rise. The world doesn't care how you feel. It only respects what you build. You think they'll remember your struggle? No, they'll only remember your results. So stop waiting for perfect timing, for motivation, for support. Those things belong to amateur champions. Show up regardless. You've wasted enough time scrolling, overthinking, fantasizing. Now it's war, not with others, with your weakness, your past, your fear. Win that war and the outside world becomes yours. Power isn't just for the chosen, it's for the focused, for the obsessed, for the men who never fold, never fade, never stop. Everything you want is on the other side of pain, discipline, sacrifice, and years of invisible work. Embrace that, because once you become that version of yourself, you'll never go back. Right now, as you're reading this, there's a version of you that could have already been rich, could have already been respected, could have already walked into every room with presence, silence, and control, but instead, you're still waiting for the world to give you permission to become who you were born to be. And let me tell you something you might not want to hear. No one's coming. No mentor, no secret book, no motivational clip, no hidden technique is going to do the work for you. If you don't move now, if you don't lock in right now, your future will be nothing but recycled regrets and missed moments. You have one life, one shot, one name, and every day you wake up and choose to waste it behind excuses, distractions, and soft habits, you betray the man you could have been. You betrayed the legacy that your last name should have carried. You were not designed to live a normal life. You were built to lead, to conquer, to rise. You were not made to work for men you don't respect. You weren't created to chase cheap dopamine in silence. You were made to wake up with a mission, train with fury, walk with certainty, and dominate your craft until the world bends to your will. You think life owes you something? It doesn't. Life owes you nothing but pain. And you know what? That pain is a gift. That pain will forge you, harden you, purify you. If you lean into it, if you embrace the grind, if you show up with aggression and intent every single day, you become unbreakable. Discipline is choosing between what you want now and what you want most. The world doesn't need more nice guys. It needs more real men, more warriors, more savages who build from zero and own everything they touch. You want money? Then build value. Build skill. Become so good they can't ignore you. Become so sharp they fear competing with you. Money doesn't fall from the sky. It flows to the focused, the calculated, the obsessed. But here's the catch. Financial dominance starts with mental dominance. You cannot control your income if you can't control your impulses. You cannot rise if you can't shut off the noise, reject the comfort, and suffer in silence while everyone else celebrates mediocrity. And if you're broke, if you're stagnant, if you're lost, it's because you've tolerated it. Your standards determine your ceiling. Raise them or stay exactly where you are. Masculinity is not aggression without purpose. It's not loud voices and fake strength. Masculinity is ownership. It's knowing that the weight of your decisions lands on your shoulders. Protecting your circle, controlling your energy, and dominating your space with calm force. The world is desperate to suppress masculine energy because it fears the rise of men who cannot be manipulated. A dangerous man is not the one who fights. It's the one who controls his power. That man is who you must become, because the future belongs to the focused, the masculine, the relentless. Not the weak, not the passive, not the ones looking for shortcuts. So now I ask you, what are you waiting for? Another year to pass while you stay the same? Another round of excuses wrapped in self-pity? Another night wasted on entertainment while your destiny rots? Enough! If you're reading this, you've been warned and you've been chosen. Chosen to rise, chosen to lead, chosen to rewrite your bloodline's future, but only if you stop hesitating. A man who delays his purpose will one day kneel to a man who didn't. Get up, start training, build your body like it's armor, build your mind like it's a weapon, build your finances like it's war, because it is. If there's pain inside you, use it. If there's rage inside you, direct it. If there's doubt inside you, drown it with action. Do not let your emotions dictate your movements. Let your mission lead the way. The difference between a king and a peasant isn't birth, it's belief, it's execution, it's fire. Most men want the crown, but fear the weight. They want the reward, but shrink from the responsibility. Not you, not anymore. You are no longer soft. No longer waiting, no longer average. This is your moment. This is your contract with greatness. And from this point on, you move differently. You speak with clarity. You think with precision, and you execute with violence. You outwork the old you until he's a ghost. Success isn't something you achieve. It's someone you become. So become him. Every day, every hour, no more waiting, no more apologies, no more softness. Go build the life that terrifies others. And when they ask how you did, smile and keep walking.